merge your pocketbooks. Now, I could talk to you about all the ways that you share money during marriage, that you share everything that goes on, but the truth of the matter is that there are financial advantages for you when you do get married, and these are what they happen to be. Number one, if you are married for at least 10 years, then you happen to get divorced. I know, not a great thing to talk about on Valentine's Day, but just let's say you are married for at least 10 years and later on in life you happen to get divorced. Each of you qualify for each other's Social Security. So if your ex-spouse happens to be making more in Social Security than you, and half of his or her Social Security would be more than your Social Security, you are legally entitled to half of your ex-spouse's Social Security. That's a big deal, people. That is a big deal. Next, you're married. You've been in love. You made it all the way through. You have accumulated millions and millions and millions of dollars together. And now one of you dies. The surviving spouse gets to inherit 100% of her deceased spouse's or his deceased spouse's money, estate tax-free. So if you happen to have an estate worth $50 million, it's possible, you never know, any amount of money, on the death of one of you, the surviving spouse gets to take that over, totally estate tax-free. Again, a seriously big deal. Number three, you have money. You've been working, and you've been putting that money in a retirement account. And you have money in your retirement account. Your spouse has money in his or her retirement account. Later on in life now, he or she dies. What happens to the money that's in that retirement account? Well, if you are married, the surviving spouse can take over that retirement account as if it was his or hers. And last but not least, estate tax limits that you leave to your children. Listen, here we are in the year 2009, and currently the estate tax limit that you can leave to anybody other than your spouse, because remember, you can leave anything you want to your spouse, is $3.5 million. So if you happen to leave more than $3.5 million to your children, to somebody you're not married to, they will owe estate tax on it. In the year 2010, there is no limit. For 1 year, you can leave any amount of money to anybody, no estate taxes. But in the year 2011, unless this changes now, you can only leave $1 million estate tax-free to your children or somebody you're not married to. Now, that's a big deal if you ask me. How do you get around it? Well, if you're married, you can do what's called an AB tax planning trust, which allows you to double that exemption. So in the year 2009, it could be $7 million that you leave if both you and your spouse die, that you can leave to your children or somebody that you're not married to. In the year 2011, that would be you could do at least $2 million. That is a lot of money. Those are just a few of the reasons why, when it comes to money, marriage is such a privilege. You will save thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, all kinds of money if you're allowed to be married, which is why, in my opinion, it is such a travesty that a few months ago, Proposition 8 in California passed. Proposition 2 in Florida passed. What is that about, everybody? We are taking away a birthright, if you ask me, for people to get the most out of the money that they have spent their lives working. Those people are making money. They pay taxes on the money. Every single one of us deserves to have the same financial benefits, whether we are gay or whether we are straight. And therefore, we have got to do everything we can to turn that around. Every single one of us deserves to be loved. Every single one of us deserves to love. And every single one of us deserves to make the most out of the money that we have. That's my Valentine's Day wish for every single one of us. Okay, we're going to go to our first guest this evening. We're going to go to Chastity and Gordon, coming to us from Austin, Texas. They are about to get married. You must be so excited. Are the two of you excited about this?
Absolutely.
Yes. You are. All right. You're kind of having a disagreement, I hear, about money. How on Valentine's Day can you have, kind of a little disagreement about money? Gordon, tell me all about it.
Hi, Susie. Chastity and I are getting married this summer. The only debt we'll have going into our wedding are our mortgage and Chastity's $40,000 in school loans, $16,000 of which have a 6.8% interest rate.
Yeah.
I want to pay off the $16,000 immediately using my savings, and then pay off the remaining portion once I receive my annual bonus in a couple months. That way we can start our marriage with a clean slate. Chastity feels a little guilty about me doing so. We'd like to get your thoughts on this situation.
Oh, well, first, before I begin this, it is Valentine's, and I just give him a little kiss for me. Come on. Because that's so sweet that he wants to do that. And you feel guilty about it? Why do you feel guilty?
I feel guilty because I've always tried to be financially independent, and I feel like this is a debt that I have taken on myself. You know, my name is on the loan, not his. And he's worked very hard to pay off all of his school debt and any other debt that he may have had in the past. And I just feel guilty using his hard-earned money to pay off my debt.
Well, let's talk about this home. You bought a home a little bit ago. And when you bought that home, whose money went into that home as a down payment?
It was his.
It was his. And whose name is on the loan?
His name.
And so your name's not on the loan. And is your name on the title of the house?
Yes.
Yes, so you're feeling guilty about that as well, correct?
I'm dealing with that. I think
That is a yes or no answer, my love.
I don't think I'm feeling as guilty about that as I would the student loan payments.
And why is that?
Because this is something that we're doing together. The house is something that we did together. We went in together on, even though we didn't use any of my money. But the student loans are something that I'm bringing to the table that he had nothing to do with.
I have to tell you, Gordon, if I were you, I would be more worried about having my wife's name on the title, but not the loan. Because if God forbid, and what a horrible thing to say before you're going to get married, but these are just realities of life, so let's just talk about it, because I don't think this is going to happen to you, at least I hope not. As you know, Texas is a community property state. In Texas, when you get divorced, being a community property state, everything's going to be divided 50-50 no matter what. So you have to be aware that really, Gordon, you're the one at risk here, not your wife-to-be. What's so great about that is she really, really cares, and she doesn't want you to use your money on her. Financially speaking, do I think that you guys should do what Gordon wants to do? I have to tell you, I do. I do, because it makes financial sense. You never want to have a school loan. If God forbid something happens and you lose your job, something happens to one of you, and you can't afford at that time to pay the payments on a school loan, it's going to get you in tremendous trouble because, as I always say in most cases, school loans are not dischargeable in bankruptcy. And they will grow, and they have the legal authority. After a while, it's not easy for them, but they can, to garnish your wages. So I want your school loans to go away. But for you to protect Gordon, there's nothing that keeps you from giving him a promissory note. A promissory note that says exactly you will owe him this amount of money and he gets to rip it off anytime he wants. It could accumulate with interest. It's up to you guys. You can have a prenuptial agreement drawn up, which also states that if God forbid anything happens, this is how much money will be owed to Gordon, so that you feel ethically, if this relationship does not last for whatever reason, Gordon will get his money back. You love him enough to do so. And Gordon has enough trust that that will never happen, that he's going to put his money forth now. And if you work it out forever, none of those papers mean anything anyway. But if it comes to pass that Valentine's Day for you turns out not so Valentine-ish, which happens, do you understand how you've protected both of yourselves that way? What do you think about that idea?
I think that sounds fair. I think that that puts me in a position to be able to take care and pay him back if something bad did happen. And I think that that would help kind of settle some of the debt, or some of the guilt with the debt, if we agreed to have that in the prenuptial agreement.
Yeah. What do you think, Gordon? Are you okay with that?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, and then that also makes Gordon feel a little bit more secure. I would just do that if I were you and protect each other. Do it when you're in a state of love.
Okay.
In a state of love is when you take the actions to protect each other, not when you're in a state of hate, and divorce is a probability. So that's what I would do. I hope the two of you have a great Valentine's night. Take us out with a kiss, you two. Take us out with a kiss.
Thanks, Susie.
Yeah, that's a good financial smacker. Bye-bye. Carol, what do you need to know from me?
Hi, Susie.
Oh, you sound like a sweet woman.
I'd like to hope so.
What can I do?
They called me and said that it was cancer.
She fought a deadly disease,